Welcome to aminacademy.com. Now let us do history of the Muslim world in that ancient civilization. Let us see now Babylonian civilization. The Babylonian civilization was a Mesopotamian civilization that existed from around 2000 to 550 BCE. The city of the Babylon was the capital of Babylonia and Neo-Babylonian Empire and was known for its architecture, mathematics and astronomy. Babylon. The civilization of Babylon is of great antiquity. Historians tell us that the early history of mankind was first built up in the valley of the Tigris and the Euphrates. This history was even far more ancient than the history of Egypt. The Hebrew Bible also bears testimony to the same fact. In the 16th century BC, Babylon was regarded as one of the most powerful countries in the Western Asia. Syria, Phoenicia, and Palestine were all included within its confines. In course of time, the empire of Assyria rose in power while Babylon decayed and fell. In the history of Babylon was find records concerning the creation of the world, the occurrence of the great flood and of the reign of the king Nimrod. During the reign of 36th king of the Syrian dynasty, the people of Media and Babylon rose in rebellion, and accordingly from year 821 BC, Babylon and Syria came to be regarded as separate kingdom. Prior to this, they had formed one empire. About the early history of the first king of Babylon, we practically know nothing. A king known as Nabonassar ascended the throne about BC 747. After this, the throne was occupied by King Nabopolassar, the later son known as Nabokalassar or Nebuchadnezzar, reigned from BC 604 to BC 561. In the year 598 BC, he set forth on an expedition against the kingdom of Judea, took possession of Tyre on the way, and in the end reached Jerusalem. His father defeated an Egyptian army and had brought under his subjections the whole vast tract of land extended from Asia Minor to Egypt. As the result of repeated military expeditions against Egypt, large number of captives taken in war had settled down in various parts of Mesopotamia. The Nebuchadnezzar, with a force of 10,000 chariots, 120,000 cavalry, and 180,000 infantry, effected the destruction of various places such as Galilee, Samaria, etc. The people of Judea, having sided with the king of Egypt, incurred the displeasure of Nebuchadnezzar, and he ordered them to be slaughtered. Their sacred temple was accordingly plundered. The poor farmers of the country deserted their lands and fled in all directions for fear of life, and Nebuchadnezzar, pleased with this apparent success, started an expedition against Persia. Afterwards, the men of Syria, having acknowledged the supremacy of the Egyptian king at the latest instigation, Nebuchadnezzar marched against Jerusalem and destroyed and plundered that city. Tyre and Egypt both fell after a siege lasting for 14 years. If in course of the time the descendants of Nebuchadnezzar grew weak, and the Persians waxing strong processed against them in BC 540 and defeated them in battle under the leadership of King Cyrus, and then Babylon was included within the orbit of the Persian Empire. Next, we'll talk about Mesopotamian civilization. Ancient Mesopotamia, centered in present-day Iraq, occupies a unique place in the history of human culture. It is there around 3400 to 3000 BC that all the key elements of urban civilization first appear in one place. Cities with monumental infrastructure and official bureaucracies overseeing agricultural, economic, and religious activities, the earliest known system of writing, and sophisticated architecture, arts, and technologies. The Mesopotamia is a Greek word. It means the territory enclosed between two rivers, and the name is commonly given to the region enclosed between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates. Mesopotamia was first included within the Assyrians and afterwards within the Babylonian Empire. Next one is Phoenicia civilization. Phoenicia. Phoenicia, ancient region along the eastern coast of the Mediterranean that corresponds to modern Lebanon with the adjoining parts of modern Syria and Israel. Its location along major trade routes led its inhabitants called Phoenicians to become notable merchants, traders, and colonizers in the first millennium BCE. The chief cities of Phoenicia, excluding colonies, included Byblos, Sidon, Tyre, and Beirut, that modern Beirut. Phoenicia is the name of an ancient territory stretching toward southwards from Syria between Mount Lebanon and the Mediterranean Sea. We know nothing about its ancient history. The inhabitants belonging to the Semitic tribe Phoenicia is a group of congeries of several states, and these were never welded together into one compact kingdom. Of them all, Tyre achieved great renown in the 13th century BC. In the 15th century BC, the Phoenicians established a colony in the island of Cyprus. In the year 980 BC, King Hiram the first fortified the city of Tyre, and in BC 608, King Nebo brought the whole of Syria under his subjections. In the year BC 538, during the reign of Hiram III, Cyrus, king of Persia, invaded Phoenicia and included it within the Persian Empire. In BC 532, Palestine and Syria also fell under the control of Persians. The people of Phoenicia sent a navy to operate against Egypt for the assistance of Cambyses, king of Persia. The Persian triumphed in the year 496 BC, but in BC 466, the Persian fleet was in its turn defeated by the Greeks. In BC 332, Alexander invaded Tyre. The fall of Tyre dates from this period. The city of Alexandria was now founded and took up its place. And the Phoenicians lost the ancient glory of their nation. In the year BC 331, Phoenicia, Syria, and Cilicia were all included by Alexander the Great in one vast empire. Alexander died in BC 323. Thereafter, Phoenicia was for sometimes snatched away from the hands of the Greeks. In BC 287, it was reconquered by Ptolemy. In the year 67 BC, the Seleucids brought Syria and Phoenicia under their control. In BC 63, Pompey reduced Syria into a Roman possession. Next, about Carthage civilization. Carthage, great city of antiquity on the north coast of Africa, now residential suburb of the city of Tunis, that is in Tunisia. Built on a promontory, promontory on the Tunisian coast, it was placed to influence the control ships passing between Sicily and the North African coast as they traversed the Mediterranean Sea. Rapidly becoming the thriving port and trading center, it eventually developed into a major Mediterranean power and a rival to Rome. Carthage. It is said that Carthage was found in the year 814 BC by Eliza, princess of Tyre. In BC 583, Carthage became independent. In BC 340, the Carthaginians were defeated by the Greeks. After this, there was war between Rome and Carthage. In the year 253 BC, a Roman fleet was shattered by tempest and the Carthaginians triumphed. Thereafter, under the leadership of Hannibal, the Carthaginians extended their dominions in Spain and the mutual consent, the river Ebro was fixed as the boundary line between the Roman and Carthaginian territories. In BC 206, the Carthaginians were finally and totally expelled from Spain by the Romans. Thereafter, there was further struggle between Rome and Carthage, in the course of which three famous battles were fought. This the protracted and continuous struggle is known as the Punic War. As a result of this long-drawn conflict, Carthage in the year 146 BC became included within the Roman Empire. In 697 AD, Carthage was plundered again by the general of Abdul Malik of Umayyad Khalifa. So far we discussed about in history of Muslim world, ancient civilization. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.